أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله ونحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا ومن يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. يقول الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يقول الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن هذه القلوب كما تصدأ الحديد إذا أصابه الماء. قيل يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وما جلاؤها؟ قال كثرة ذكر الموت وتلاوة القرآن. My dear respected brothers and sisters, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam which I quoted, you must have heard a lot, and from me at least, I do it a lot in my khutbahs. And my dear respected brothers, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he gives us advices, we need to pay heed to it, because it will give us the pathway and the guidance to live our life. My dear respected, when we get lost, we put GPS, directions, reconfigure it, and it gives and guide us to take to our destination. And my dear respected brothers, in order for this dunya, in order for us to be successful in this dunya and in the hereafter, we need to follow the directions of Allah and the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My dear brothers, the years are passing by so quickly. It has been 20 years I have been in Nashville, and it looks like in a jiffy, in a blink of an eye. And I'm sure some of you might be 30 years, 40 years, maybe longer. But my dear respected brothers and sisters, 3 weeks ago, almost today is 20th day of January 2023, we turned the leaf and we came into 2023, and 2022 is the past. And now we are living our days, my dear respected brothers, and we are writing our destiny every day with our actions. And my dear respected brothers, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when your hearts get rusted, that it gets rusted like iron gets rusted. And my dear respected brothers, Sahaba radiallahu anhuma always asked beautiful questions. They did not ask like Bani Israel the question for the sake of questions. That is why you will see when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will ask questions from Sahaba radiallahu anhum will say, Allahu alam. Because they wanted to know the answer from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, when our hearts get rusted, what is the cure? What is the remedy for it? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, at that time, you should remember your death, and you should frequently recite Quran. My dear respected brothers, if we think very carefully, this is the pathway of success. Because if we get deviated, our remembrance of Maut and our guidance from Quran gives us the way to come back. If we have taken a wrong exit, we come back on the main highway so that we can continue our straight path. Kullu nafsin dhaikatul maut. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that all the souls which I created will taste death. Wa innama tuwaffawna ajurakum yawm al-qiyamah. But all of those people, when they will taste death, they will be given their recompense. You and I, on the day of the judgment, will be given the recompense for what we did here. Our deeds will be rewarded, or our bad deeds will be counted. But we all ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from His mercy to overlook them if He can. And inshallah, we will. And then the ayah continues, فَمَنْ زُهْزِيَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلِ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ. And I always say to myself, and this is a reminder for you all, but it is more reminder for myself, that the definition of success has been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have to think, what is success? There it is. That whoever will avoid entering into the nar of Jahannam, wiggle himself away from the nar of Jahannam, from the fire of Jahannam, and enter into Jannah, he is the one who is successful. This is Allah, our Creator, telling us. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, ultimate happiness, and there is nothing wrong to work for the success of this dunya. By the way, I want to clarify that, because sometimes we Muslims think success of this dunya and running after dunya is wrong. No. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not say that you cannot be a millionaire. Usman radiallahu anhu was a millionaire and billionaire of his time. Abdurrahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu was a billionaire of his time. But they followed the tenets and the Sharia to the dot, to the letter. My dear respected brother, when time came to give, they gave not like no one else in the path of Allah. Allah chooses whomsoever. But we should not lose the perspective when Allah gives us something. We should always keep the perspective straight, that where is my destination in the end? It is in the qabr, and from the qabr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we keep that destination and this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in mind, inshallah we'll be successful. So my dear friends, this dunya success is temporary, but the ultimate Jannah, ultimate success over the hereafter is everlasting. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, we all make New Year's resolutions. And I'm sure many of us has made it and it has been broken. But the statistics go with that. 8% of the people who make their resolutions complete it. 92% of them don't. 80% of our resolutions which we make for the new year, that I will do this, I will accomplish this, I will have this task, I will do this, we fall off within a month of a resolution. I'm just talking about the statistics. Whether it is happening to you or not, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about statistics. But my dear respected brothers, we need to reflect today. And I need to reflect today that when we make resolutions, it's a great idea. It's an excellent idea. It's a noble task. We should, because we should have goals. Without goals, how can we achieve from point A to point B? How will we end up? There will be no way. So we have to, excuse me, we have to do that. So my dear respected brothers, then if we have to look for resolution, we have to look at someone who was successful. Then we have to look at our leaders. I'm talking about our Islaf. Who better to look at than the seed of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? My dear respected brothers, there is no man who was created by Allah who came as close to perfection as possible. And of course, he was not perfect either. But as perfect as a human being could be. My dear respected brother, he is the guidance for us how to live this life. So my dear respected brothers, how did he made us all come together as an ummah? This is a big task. And my dear respected brothers and sisters, we need to look at those people who were successful. So I need to tell you stories today. Usually I don't, but I think without stories, we will not be able to understand the concept of having goals and having aspirations. Excuse me. Did Sahaba radiallahu anhu made goals and had aspirations? Yes. Of course, their ultimate aspiration was how to enter into Jannah and how to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From this dunya point of view, in Hijra Ismail, you know Kaaba, when you go to Kaaba, there's a little place, Hijra Ismail, where that's semi-circle kind of a thing. 4 Sahabi are sitting there. 3 of them are brothers. Abdullah bin Zubayr radiallahu anhu with Urwa and Mus'ab radiallahu anhu. They are 3 brothers sitting with Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu. My dear respected brothers, they are all big names. And thank you very much. They are all big names. So, Abdullah, and they are asking each other, what do you want to accomplish? Abdullah bin Zubayr radiallahu anhu said, I want to be the Khalifa, the leader of the Muslims. Now you have to keep these stories in the perspective of what? To have goals, to have resolutions, to aspire about something. That is why I'm telling you these stories. That when we make resolutions, we need to work hard on them and task. So Abdullah bin Zubayr radiallahu anhu said, I want to be the Khalifa. And Urwa, his brother, said, I want to be a scholar. I want to be a person to whom people come to learn from. And Mus'ab radiallahu anhu, he said, I want to be the governor of Iraq. And I want to marry these 2 women. Aisha bint Talha and Sakina bint al-Husayn radiallahu anhuma. They asked, Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu was sitting there, he said, you are asking us all these things, what about you? And now you have to pay attention. Because that statement carries a lot of things in it. He said, I want only one thing, and that is to be forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the things which I might have done knowingly and unknowingly. Big aspiration. So who is narrating this? This is narrated by Abdul Rahman, by his father Zinad. His father is narrating the story that I saw all these 4 people. And I saw them achieve their goals. I saw Urwa became the Mufti of Medina. And Mufti of Medina, of nobody caliber of that in Medina in his time. Mus'ab, he married these 2 women and became the governor of Iraq or Basra. And Abdullah bin Zubayr radiallahu anhu became as Khalifa, we know, in Mecca, in Umayyad's time, and then he was killed. But he achieved that. And then the father is telling, Abdul Rahman's father is telling that Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, because he wanted to be forgiven, we will know on the day of the judgment about it. But I'm sure he achieved his goals which he had, that he will be forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you might say to me, Brother Farooq, you're telling me all about the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. So let's move forward. And let's talk about Umar bin Abdul Aziz. We call it fifth Khalifa in Islam. So my dear respected brother, he was a very ambitious young man. When he used to play as a kid in the streets, he said, I used to see people going into the mosque and learning. And there are people who are teaching them. And I had an ambition that I want to be like them, that I go and learn and then I will be the teacher. He became a scholar later on. And not only that, he said, I want to be a knowledgeable person, but I also want to marry the Khalifa's daughter. He achieved that ambition too. And he then said, I want to be leader in Medina. He became a leader in Medina. And then he said, I want to be the leader of the Muslimin, Mu'mineen. And he became the Muslims' leader. And then he said, now I'm looking for Jannah. And we know that he gave away all his dunya. But my dear respected brothers, he achieved what he wanted. So you might say, close to Sahaba radiallahu. Let's go to Al-Nawawi radiallahu, rahmatullah alayh. A big scholar, a big name. A big name. My dear respected brother, what was his ambition and goal to do? He wanted to spread the common sunnahs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the common man, awam an-nas. So what is his? 40 ahadith. Very famous 40 ahadith of An-Nawawi. My dear respected, he wrote them, compiled them, so that people, all people like me and you, can learn from those common sunnahs and accomplish them in our lives. Did he stop there? No. He said, I want to do something a little bit intermediate level. What I was looking for is Riyadus Salihin here. But most of the masajid have Riyadus Salihin. He wrote Riyadus Salihin. And in our masjid in Brentford and Franklin, we read Riyadus Salihin every day. We get benefit from his work. And we read one hadith, but we get benefit out of it. It's short hadith, but we can learn from it. Then he said, no, I want to do something for the higher levels. And then he explained the book of Sahih Muslim. My dear, these are the goals and aspirations of these big people. And my dear respected brother, does it stop there? No. There was a woman who used to carry her son around the seashores. And she will ask, what do you see across at the horizon? He will say, lights, mom. He said, these are the lights of the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, the Constantinople. But you will be the one who will conquer Constantinople. And he was Muhammad al-Fatih. This is the aspiration of a mom for her son. Goals, achieving those things. My dear respected brothers, these are the visions and the aspirations which we all have, we should all have. Yes, all these successes from the fadl of Allah. All these successes from the will of Allah. All these successes ultimately has been written in the books by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But my dear respected brothers and sisters, if I pose this question to you, was it only and only the will of Allah? Yes, but it has an attachment to it. And that attachment is, it is about attitude of a person. It is a way of life which we choose for ourselves. It is a certain pattern of the people. When they work hard, they put time in it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it happen. It cannot happen just because I am La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah sitting under the table and under the tree and saying nothing and doing nothing and it's a will of Allah and He will give me successes. He can. But that is not the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has been proven time and again. In Anbiya alayhi salatu salam, if it would have been the most easy thing to give, then Anbiya alayhi salatu salam would not have to do anything and they would be achieving the success. But they never got a success without working hard. So we have to work hard, we have to put in time, we have to do our due diligence and then leave everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Say, I did my task. I will not put anything beyond that and then blame others. My dear respected brothers, so there has to be an input in order to get the output. So my dear respected brothers, what are the different things if we have to just mark a little bit for ourselves? What are the different things which we fail in our resolution? What are the different factors which fail our resolutions? Number one comes to me for myself, excuses. I have 100 excuses to tell you why I didn't accomplish this task. I will blame others for my shortfalls. Excuse. And what is the ultimate excuse we all use? I use sometimes, and may Allah forgive me. Brother, it was the will of Allah. I did not put even a 1% to the task, and I put all the blame to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That I was supposed to work on the task which was assigned to me, and I did not. And then the result came to me, and it's a failure. Then I said, it's the will of Allah. No, my dear respected brothers and sisters, it does not work like that. We have to work hard, and we have to come out of our comfort zones. We don't want to be uncomforted. I don't want to be uncomforted from the luxuries of my home. And then I want results. I don't think so. My dear respected, the other one is magnifying our fears for failures. So it kills so many dreams before they materialize. We magnify our fears from the past experiences, past failures, and we keep on magnifying it, not knowing that those past failures are past failures. Let's move on and do the task as it was required to do. My dear respected brothers, grab the fears by the horns and stop thinking about your fears and belittling yourself and myself. I should not belittle myself. I should not underestimate the abilities which Allah has given it to me. My dear respected brothers, each and every one of us who is sitting here today has the ability to achieve the best in this dunya and akhirah. But we have to work hard. There is no shortcut. The time has to be put into. And stop thinking what people will think. Who cares? If I want to come 5 times daily into the masjid and pray, who cares what people think? I'm doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sake, not to show off. If I want to come further in the salat in jama'ah, who cares what people have to think? If in my lunch time, in my break time at work, if I have to recite 10 ayahs of Quran, who cares what people think? Stop thinking what people think. Stop thinking like that and start thinking what Allah wants from me. What I need to do in order to bring the help of Allah towards me. Our attitude has to change. And my dear respected brothers, without that, I think we will not be able to be successful. Stop thinking about past experiences. Yes, we need to learn from the past experiences, but on the basis of that doesn't mean that we cannot work and start enjoying your present. Maybe present is better than the past. And present you have more abilities to do than what it was in the past. My dear respected brothers, stop thinking about failures so that we can be successful. And the third big thing which I can think of is why? Why I need to do this? Because if you look in Quran, and that is what we started with, Quran gives us guidance. Rasulullah's life gives us guidance. My dear respected brothers, if I have to think about Quran and the way Quran incites me to do things, why? If I need to help poor, why? Because Allah says, I will reward you. I will multiply your wealth. Allah gives you choices to make and you answer your whys. And that is why we need to be connected to Quran. That is why we need to be connected to the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because our whys will be answered in Quran and the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And my dear respected brothers and sisters, we have the resources, we have the money, we have the energy, and we need to achieve those things so that our whys can be answered. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enter us all in Jannah inshallah, and forgive our sins and collect us all together so that we can have the shafa of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Inna Allaha وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. I don't have time, but there are a lot of other points which I wrote for myself as a remembrance and reminding for myself. For example, we need to set our priorities straight. Times when we want to keep with news, we are on WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and the work is pending. Work is there staring at your face. Complete me first, please. But my priority is what? What my friend sent me in WhatsApp. Who cares what he sent? Your task is pending, and it is not, nobody is doing it except you. So my dearest person, we need to set our priorities straight. We cannot be jack of all trades and master of none. We need to become masters of a lot of things. My dear respected, we sometimes make a resolution, but we have no plan. How to accomplish that? We need to make sure that we have a plan how to reach from point A to point B. And we really, when we make commitment, oh, my friend is making a resolution for 10 points. My co-worker made 5 resolutions. Let me make 10 so that I can supersede him. I can tell him I can make resolutions too. But there is no plan. There is no real commitment to the resolution. It is just a resolution, just to show off. My dear respected brothers, we need to make sure that we have a plan and a commitment. For example, memorizing the Quran, memorizing a surah, reciting something, learning a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all those little things. Set a deadline for your tasks. And that is a beautiful thing we achieve in our workplaces. All of us work somewhere, and businesses or wherever we work, we have a deadline. But for our resolution, we have no deadlines. It is 10-year plan. And that 10 years after, it doesn't come. We have another 10 years to work on it. Because we are on WhatsApp, we are on Twitter, Instagram, that's more important. Our task is not, our resolution is not. My dear, you cannot, last thing I will leave it here is, cannot take pressure. I know, I did this khutbah, I think 2 weeks ago or something in Franklin. And there were a lot of youngsters sitting there, and I can see from their face, they were not happy with my statement. So I will try to avoid that statement. We want quick fixes. There are no quick fixes, my dear respected brothers. If you are looking for a quick fix, you are in the wrong place. Because if there would be a quick fix, you think Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam could be given Medina in 2 days? He was not given Medina in 2 days. My dear respected brother, we melt under pressure. Oh, there is an article in Tennessean about Islam written against. Let's go on the streets and have violence. Who cares what they have written? The question to be asked is, what have I done to promote Islam? My dear respected brothers, all these resolutions which we do, my dear respected, in the end when we are working hard, in the end it comes to one thing. Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. That when I will put my time in and when I will work hard, then it is in the hands and the power of Allah to accomplish any unthinkable, like Medina. At the time when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said he declared his Nabuwa, at that time Quraysh never thought that he will have Medina. But my dear respected, not only Medina, he conquered places, and Sahaba radiallahu anhu conquered continents. It did not come overnight just because no pressure. They went to torture, hunger, pain, and that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ, that I have created man with pain, toil, hard work, and trials. Do you think Allah knows us? Yes, He knows us better than we think He does, because He created us. So we have to go through all these hard work and pain and toil, hard work and tasks to be done and achieved in order to get our goals. My dear respected brothers, I know it is difficult to talk about all these things because it is very hard to accomplish all those things. But my dear respected brothers, Allah assigned us a task. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. That you are the best ummah created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the condition that you will go and tell people and call them towards good and forbid them evil and have iman on Allah. This is our task. And if you ask, Brother Farooq, which grade do you want to give it to yourself? F. If I want to be nice to myself, D. So that I'm not embarrassed with F with a failure. And you might say, brother, I will give you grace mark, C minus. Okay, I will take it. But are we up to the task? Do we have a resolution how to accomplish that? Because, my dear respected, it will come with patience and perseverance, and that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. That seek Allah's help with patience, perseverance, and prayer. It is indeed hard except for those who are humble. Be humble. Show character of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Allah will give you everything. My dear respected brothers, this khutbah is about what? In my mind, don't give up your dreams. If I have to tell you and encourage about something, you have a dream in your mind, work on it hard, and then wake up for Fajr and Tahajjud and put that need in front of Allah, who sustains us every minute of the day. Tell Him that we need this, I'm working hard, give it to me, and Allah will give it to you. He will. It might take time, but He will. But if you are sincere, my dear, I wish from the bottom of my heart all of you a very happy and successful new year of 2023. May Allah make this year with the best of Iman and make the best of your deen and dunya. May Allah bless you in your days and nights, your family and your wealth and health. May Allah bless your tomorrow, which is better than yesterday. May Allah make us among those who listen to speeches of Allah and act upon it and follow it. May Allah forgive our sins and give us the ability to conquer our fears and to reach our full potential to fulfill our dreams and goals, which benefit us and humanity at large. Ameen. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsani wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi. Ya'idhukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkari wa la dhikrullahi akbar. Wallahu ya'lamu ma tasna'un. I'm sorry, I went over 2 minutes. Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah accept from us.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah.